Hello and welcome back to Real Talk. It's been a long semester and we've all been hustling in front of and behind the scenes. I, for one, can't believe we're already at the finale, but I'm not gonna get emotional yet, I promise. We have a great hour-long episode for you tonight. For those that aren't aware, on top of STN's female president and vice president, here at Real Talk we have two amazing executive producers, female producers, obviously. In the real world of TV and film, it's often male-dominated and overlooked. So many talented women in the field. Speaking of overlooked women, the world of sports can be very unfair towards them. I'm here with Megan, Haley, and Gabby to talk about just that. So, who wants to kick it off? Get it? Kick?
No.
Okay.
What a wonderful. That was bad.
That was
But
bad.
I appreciated that. I thought that was very funny because I would also do a joke like that. That's great.
I think Gabby should kick us off. I think she knows the most about sports compared to all of us up here.
Yes,
if I'm
as
being
someone
honest.
who played soccer in high school and basketball, I did get benched a lot, though. So do not.
But you were on the team, then that's what matters.
I was on the team.
You were representing.
I was representing. I was the bench warmer. But it's all right though because at least I didn't have to face the pressures of women's sports in the professional league, especially coming into motherhood. And especially the disproportionate scrutiny that like women face when they make a simple mistake, like just like a missed kick or a missed layup shot or something. Like plenty of other male athletes have done before, but are not really as criticized for as much.
No, I agree with you because I feel like whenever like a woman especially in the sports field makes one mistake, that's all the media focuses on. They don't focus on their accomplishments or what they did well in the game. It's just, oh yeah, they fucked up that one kick, or yeah, they fucked up that layup or whatever, and they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and that was the highlight. It wasn't what they did that was memorable in the game, it was what they did that messed it up, which is not fair.
Well, that's like a problem in the media in general. Like, it's not just like a sports thing where you focus on the negatives of women. It's also like you focus it, like we had, Kamala Harris running for president, and you describe female candidates differently than you describe male candidates. You would never say, oh, that male candidate's very competent. You would never describe a male candidate as competent.
I remember, in my one class, we were talking about just the way that people are described, men versus women, in my linguistics class, my sociolinguistics class, and we say that the descriptive words for men versus women is very different. It's, for a man, it's very like confident and you got this and all those types of words, but then for a woman, it's like, you did that and you did this, but it's not. But being confident can be seen as a negative thing versus a positive thing, which is very interesting.
No, if you speak up and take charge as a man, you're a leader. But if you speak up and take charge as a woman, you're a bitch.
Yes, exactly. Yep, exactly.
Especially this like quoting the Taylor Swift song, the man.
Hey!
I mean, I wasn't quoting that, but
You were really close to it, and I also thought of that, Gabby. So like, you're not alone.
Yes, because especially when you said there's like so much scrutiny, especially after when like someone has had a baby, and then goes back to the sport. Oh my goodness, alarms raised.
Serena Williams, right?
Yes, Serena Williams. I believe Alex Morgan also. She had a baby, went back to soccer too. But speaking of Serena Williams, she's one of the game changers of sports.
She's an icon.
I'm sorry?
She's an icon.
Yes, she is. Yes,
she is.
She is. She's an icon. She's an icon. She's a legend.
She is the moment.
Yes.
We got our hands full this episode. That's all I gotta say. Oh,
I love when they get my reference. I love when
Yes.
people get my reference. My roommates always just stare at me, waiting for me to finish the reference.
We got you. We got you.
Here, Real Talk. Trust.
we keep it real here at Real Talk.
Ayo.
No, but hey, Gabby, what were you saying? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just mentioning all the game changers. Especially recently, Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
And Paige Beckers. Oh my God, they're like changing the sport. Caitlin Clark. She's like shattered the NCAA viewership records. Nobody's ever watched women's basketball as much as they have until Caitlin Clark came into the scene.
As my brother says, people sleep on the WNBA. My brother says that all the time.
Honestly, I haven't heard about the WNBA until like this year, frankly. I knew it existed, but no one talked about it. Like nobody cared.
Yeah, nobody cared. But now when I'm seeing like Caitlin Clark, especially like I said, Paige Beckers, coming into the scene now, which actually reminds me about, especially with the gender wage gap. I saw a post where Tyreek Hill would be fined $100K just for not wearing socks in his one football game, and that is more. He'd be paying a fine more than Paige Beckers would be earning for a single season in basketball. Not just for a single game, a single season. Like $86,000. That's what she's getting for a single season. And that's without sponsorships.
It's 2025. So I would like to say we were advancing, but let's be real, we're going backwards.
I mean, look who's in the fucking White House.
Right, we're going backwards. So this stuff, like, still hearing about this is like bullshit, frankly. Of like,
for sure.
you have the money, people are watching it, you just think like, oh, she has female anatomy, fuck her. Like, come on. Like, that's basically what it is at this point. Like, there's no actual justification for not paying men and women the same rate.
Absolutely.
And if I hear more of the bullshit of like, oh, you have to pee more, she has to pee more.
It's absolutely
What?
ridiculous.
Like, what
Sorry
the
that I have a
fuck?
bladder. My
No,
bad.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Let me pee my
to be
pants.
a hydrated queen.
Like,
Hello.
It's not even like that. It's like sometimes a lot of people use the argument where I was like, well, because they're working at a deficit, like they're working at a loss. So of course they're not paying women's basketball, women's soccer as much because they're not earning as much money. Nobody views them as much. Like that's looking at it from a business standpoint, but I doubt that's true. Like especially with how much money they're getting from other sponsorships to have their,
I feel like it's kind of like a similar argument, kind of what you were saying about like the pay gap of like if you're pregnant, especially like if you're, I know that, and like in teaching, I'm pretty sure, like sometimes if you're pregnant, like they just won't pay you because like you can't be there to teach. But it's like I'm having a child, like I'm creating a family. Like it's not like it's not my fault, but like it's just they're not getting compensated of what they deserve when they're trying to start a family and they're not being commended for that. Mind you, like
literally growing a human inside of you.
Well, if a guy takes like a leave of absence, it's viewed as completely different.
Of course.
So, very interesting considering that that's the field that I want to go into. When I'm older, I want to work in a school system. So, very interesting to think about.
But I also think it's interesting because I think there was a period for a while there where women's soccer was actually more popular than like the men's soccer team, like the US.
Yes.
So like, what's the excuse for that specifically? Is what I would like to know.
Speaking of women's soccer,
Okay, love it. Let's talk about it.
A lot of people, I've seen a lot of comments on TikTok, Instagram. They always mention the U13 soccer game, the 2017 soccer game, informal scrimmage between the U15 boys academy team and FC Dallas and the U.S. women's soccer team, because the women's soccer team, they lost to the boys, and so they used that to undermine the women's sports and just spout about how they're unworthy of support because they lost to a U15 boys. But first of all, it was an informal scrimmage. It was meant to, it was a common scrimmage and training method to help simulate the game speed without risking injury or fatigue. And so there was really no real motivation to even do it. There was just to simulate the game speed. So when people use that as a point, I'm like, that's just bullshit.
No, the people like to take one thing that went wrong and then they build their entire argument off of that. It's like, okay, you're looking at a snapshot of a photo. Let's look at the whole image instead. Because then you can be more educated. But if you want to build your entire argument off of something like that, then I guess I can't stop you, but it's wrong. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
That goes back to your point of like people only focus on the negative, and of course it's typically for women. Like, all these men have like highlight reels and all that.
No, and then it's like, oh my God, look at this, she fucked this up.
But
like, okay.
At the same time, I mean, I'm the last person to be talking about sports, honestly. I'm gonna be so real. But like there are videos where in a women's soccer game, someone will get like completely kicked, beating the shit out of them. They're like bleeding and everything.
And they'll pick themselves
walk
up
right back
and
on.
they're like, yup.
But then the fucking dude twists an ankle, and then it's like gets carried off the field like a fucking wave.
They don't even get hit, and they just flop to the ground.
But it's like I would so much rather. Like that takes. I mean, granted, the guys could just be like pussies. But I would so much rather watch someone who's able to be that resilient and just like whatever than just be like, oh, look at me, I'm gonna kick a ball and now I'm gonna cry.
Well, who is the woman? I always forget her name and I always say it wrong. Who was on Dancing with the Stars, the rugby player?
Oh, Alona Mars!
Yes.
She a queen.
I love her.
I saw like a TikTok video the other day, and it was like a son of like a mother, and he was like, play the strong one of her like being like the strong was. Because her biggest message was that I'm not usually viewed as like graceful and being a good dancer and like being in that spotlight, but I feel like Dancing with the Stars did a really good job actually of putting her in that spotlight and showing her that strong women can dance too. Strong women can do all these things that media's telling them that they can't do, and she proved that like completely.
It was
Icon.
great.
That
Yeah.
and,
Icon.
and also,
Yes.
like her swimsuit illustrated.
Yes, yes.
Because it's like normalizing that you can have a muscular build and still be portrayed as like hot as hell. Like,
Yes.
And like before her, honestly, I personally, correct me if you can think of one, I can't think of like someone who was a strong female icon who played sports, who was embracing the idea that you can be built, you can be strong, and you can be beautiful and vulnerable all at the same time.
And she talked about like wearing makeup in her games and like people.
Oh yeah, she was like a Maybelline fan. She loved her Maybelline.
And people were like, "Why are you wearing makeup?" And it's like,
Because I want to.
Like,
is
I
that a
want to.
problem?
Why not?
Like I still remember like after Dancing with the Stars, if you guys like watched the one week where she was doing the Encanto dance.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
This
Yes.
little girl was like, she's like, I want to be the person for little girls to look up to and be like, you can be strong, you can be beautiful, and you don't have to fit into any kind of box. And I think that personally for me was like my favorite.
Yeah,
moment
her
of the
biggest
series.
message was that there's no mold there's no mold for you. Like you can be whatever you want to be, and I think that's just such a strong message,
Yeah.
especially for sports. And when going back to the whole like the sport motif that we've been talking about so far, like how you don't fit into a box, into a category, and you genuinely can do whatever you want to be. I know like the stereotypical was like, oh, like guys can play, like guys can do like dance too, but it's like, can they? Because people also stereotype that.
Yeah.
Like there's never anything that you're doing right or wrong. It's just everyone judges you for everything, and I just don't think that's fair.
It's the argument of it's the way it's always been. Okay, that's the shittiest
it is what it
argument I've
is.
heard.
It is. That's what everyone.
That's
it is
the
what it
shittiest
is.
argument I've always
Like,
been.
You look like
I'm sorry,
You're
look
waiting.
at me, say
Sorry,
something.
you're waiting.
your gears are spinning.
This is the ADHD in me. I
Oh,
always
that's
interrupt
okay.
people.
No
I'm
shame.
Feel that.
But no, I just want to say, because like with judgment, especially with like accusations against accusations against male athletes are never really taken seriously.
Yeah.
But there has
Yes,
been.
yes, I
But
agree
a
with
basketball
that.
player, Sedona Prince, she went undrafted this recent WNBA draft. And ESPN mentioned the several allegations against her made by women about how she like abused them, and so it kind of also really showed that stark difference about how she faced consequences as she should. Don't get me wrong, as she should, but yet like people, male athletes, can literally crash their car and almost
Or
kill
like drunk
someone.
drive, or
sexually
like
assault
Drunk
somebody.
drive
Yeah,
and
and it's just
DUI
normal.
or sexually abuse someone and then still get away with it and still be playing.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me.
I feel like it's very big in like the NFL, especially because the NFL is one of it's I'm pretty sure it's the most like sport watched like worldwide, especially the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like
I mean, the Super Bowl has the highest level of domestic violence of the year. I'm pretty sure because all these guys get rah rah, my team. Oh my god, I lost. I'm gonna fucking beat my wife now.
yeah.
Dude, oh my god, that's not something to laugh at. But
No, it's not.
No,
No,
but
it's
it,
not.
but it's so
It's
bad that
ridiculous.
it's just like, oh my goodness, like what is going on?
And like we're sorry,
Genuinely.
like men of real talk.
Yeah.
But like
yeah, we love you guys. We love
this
you
is
guys.
coming from
but-
years of systematic and gender like oppression.
Yeah.
So you guys are great, but also the system is rigged. and always acknowledge that.
As someone, growing up, I did martial arts, and I'm a black belt. But growing up, me and my family friend were the only two girls in MMA. So I was constantly surrounded by men, basically telling me that I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be sparring, I shouldn't be breaking boards, I shouldn't be doing all this stuff, and that just pushed me even harder. And I was transitioning out of dance because I was a dancer because I liked martial arts better. So I've had that personal experience, basically being like, I'm not good enough. And I'm like, no.
We've all gone through that. Like I did archery for a period, and I was the only woman in the room.
Yeah.
And some of them were great, and some of them were really fucking shitty. But we're always gonna have the people who are one and putting us down. But like, honestly, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's all I gotta say
Absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
There's a lot more to unpack here.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But not today.
Not today. Well, game's over, guys. Sound the buzzer. Gabby and Haley, I'm sorry to say, but you're benched now. This week is Nurse Appreciation Week, with today being National Student Nurse Day. So let's hear a little bit more about that. May 8th is recognized every year as Student Nurse Day, a time to recognize the future of nursing and the students who are working through one of the most challenging and essential educational paths. These students aren't just studying medicine, they're preparing to serve on the front lines of a system that is stretched thin, often politicized, and increasingly hostile towards the science and compassion that healthcare is built on. Student nurses are everywhere. in classrooms, labs, and hospital floors. They juggle exams, long clinical rotations, and real patient care, all while dealing with financial stress, mental health struggles, and burnout before they even get their license. They're the ones learning how to start IVs, advocate for patient rights, and more, while also learning how to keep going in a system that doesn't always protect them. In 2025, being a nursing major feels heavier. The healthcare system and those who work in it are facing a new wave of political and cultural attacks. This has been building for years, but under the current Trump administration, we're watching these threats become policy again. Attempts to roll back the Affordable Care Act are once again in motion, risking coverage for millions of people, including vulnerable patients that nursing students often work with in their clinical. Reproductive rights, gender-affirming care are under more federal scrutiny and outright restriction, which means students must train in a system where patient autonomy is actively being undermined. Public health leadership is being reshaped by loyalty over expertise, like RFK, and essential agencies are losing trust and resources. Disinformation is being amplified by figures in power, making it harder for nurses to do their jobs without pushback or threats. All of this has real consequences in the classroom, the hospital, and at the bedside. This isn't just about Trump and the current political standings. It's about a broader wave of anti-science, anti-healthcare coming from across the political spectrum. Figures, once again, like RFK Jr., continue to spread vaccine conspiracy theories and sow distrust in nurses, doctors, and public health institutions. Laws in multiple states are criminalizing aspects of care. Nurses are facing violence, lawsuits, or professional penalties just for doing their jobs, such as providing abortions for people who need them. For student nurses, that means training for a career that is already politicized before it even begins. We honor nursing students not only for their academic and clinical commitment, but for their resilience, for choosing to step into a career that is underpaid, undervalued, and increasingly under threat. Student Nurse Day is a call to action. To protect these students, we must fund nursing education and provide mental health and financial support, fight for safe staffing ratios and nurse protections, push back against policies that put providers and patients at risk, elevate science, not suppress it, and stop turning healthcare into a cultural battlefield. To every nursing student, you're stepping up in a time where often the system doesn't step up for you. You're learning medicine in a world that doesn't always respect it, and still you continue because you care and because it matters. On May 8th, we honor you, and we stand with you and your determination for the present and future of healthcare. Thank you, student nurses. Thanks again to our student nurses, especially here at UD. You're really doing great. With the healthcare industry and system becoming so divisive and questionable, this begs the question, what are the government's priorities actually? We're joined with Noah and Aaron now to dissect that. All right, Noah.
You ready for this?
I know you want to do this.
Yeah, so I would say right now the priority of the government is Donald John Trump and nobody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
The government, every single thing that this administration has done is directly the result of a vendetta that Trump or Elon Musk has against some specific person or groups of people, right? Elon Musk's daughter comes out as trans and his wife leaves him for a trans woman. Now suddenly the Republicans hate trans people and they want to get rid of it. The immigrants all like say, no, I'm not going to vote for you. Let's send them to a Venezuelan concentration camp, right? Elon Musk can't get blanket permission to launch rockets all over the place because people say, hey, maybe that's not the best for the environment and they're going to fall on us if they blow up. Now the FAA is getting gutted, so that entire administration is gone. There's not really any logic to it. It's not about helping people. It's entirely
It's a vendetta.
Yeah.
It's like, you did this to piss me off, so now guess what? Fuck you.
Exactly.
Like, more like we're talking about, like, let's talk about, like, education. So they're taking away the Department of Education. And let's say, like, not logically,
I wonder
studies have shown the more educated you are, like, you vote Democrat.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So let's fuck the education department.
Like,
we don't need it. We don't need it.
I really wonder why they're doing that. It's almost like, oh, if they're dumber, they'll vote for me.
Yeah, my like pet theory is that like before probably around like the 60s or 70s, it was very common that water pipes were made of lead and they were welded with lead. So the reason that I think like boomers so far like off the deep end with the Trumpy bullshit is because they all have low-level lead poisoning. And
You know what?
There's been actual studies that show like exposure to lead drops your IQ by like 5 to 10 IQ points on
Are you
average.
serious?
And that entire generation who spent their entire formative years of their life drinking lead. So obviously they're voting for Trump. Like that.
Is this like actually true?
It's my theory. The studies, the studies about the lead are
Okay.
true. My theory is that that's why the political connection is my personal theory.
Okay.
Yes, they all have lead poisoning. That's the only way to explain it, because
All right.
the decisions that they're making are not rational, and that goes for Trump himself too. That there is so much lead in that guy's brain.
He's like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's like what's the, oh my God,
Dementia?
it's not, yes.
No, it was like dementia.
I knew it, it was just, I don't even know if it's like pre-dementia or if it's just like there
I think
already.
we're past the pre.
I think
part,
we are
I'm gonna be
past the
honest.
pre part. I just think he's crazy.
We're going downhill.
and that's just how it is. And it's like,
He hates
I don't know.
immigrants, but Elon.
Right? Like, you're from South Africa,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Like,
He's an immigrant.
what the hell? Also, the fact that, okay, this
he
is
hates
off topic.
the brown immigrants.
This
I'm sorry.
This is off topic a little bit, but the fact that like felons can't vote for president, but a felon
he's
is president. Like,
He's a convicted.
hello? Like, you have no right to like. Oh.
In one of my classes, it's a 3-hour class, and we dedicated it to just learning about all of Trump's sex crimes, just all of them.
I
And
want
about
this class.
every
I
single
would
victim.
love to take this
It's
class.
a fantastic class.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing
I
class.
mean, I feel like taking that, listening to those lectures, I would be like vomiting next
Angry.
door
Yeah.
every time. However,
There's actually like an alleged like minor stuff as well. So like it's not just like adults. I'm like,
wait, just minor. Trump's bullshit.
That could be mine.
Now
You could
here at
get a
UD.
degree in that. But like,
God.
I don't know. There is no priorities right now of the government. It's basically a fuck you movement, and that's absolutely ridiculous. But I will say, there are legitimate reasons that people voted for Trump. And the legitimate reasons that people didn't vote for Kamala. And I understand them all, but I think part of it comes from not being as educated as you could be, and a lot of that issue goes in that there's so much misinformation, there is so much disinformation on social media, and there are so many areas of our country that are just covered in news deserts. Like, there's no local news, there's no paper, so when you rely on just national news and you know nothing about your community, you can't be expected to make informed decisions about, politics or government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think further about like the implications of what they're deciding to do. Like, okay, so you don't like transgender people. Now, like something that's been happening a lot, like I know in Delaware and a lot of other states as well, is resources for like domestic violence have been taken down because they
Yeah.
support trans people and people of the LGBTQ plus community. Like, so they're taking like completely erasing information and like we can't help them anymore. Like they're threatening to take away funding if you continue to help people that identify as trans, and that's insane. Like you're hurting so many people, and regardless, they're still like victims of domestic violence or IPV. So why does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the answer that Trump supporters would give you is because they deserve it, because they don't like those people and they think they deserve to suffer. Honestly, the entire like anti-DEI thing is like the way that they went about that is so ridiculous to the
Yes.
point like it's pretty obvious that they literally did a Control F on every government document and looked up the word diversity, and if it included that word, just
You can't have
deleted it.
women!
Yeah.
Women aren't in so many things, like women
guess we
or
just
like
don't
female.
exist.
I guess, yeah, no, well, like, apparently we don't anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
No, 'cause,
my rights don't matter, and I don't have any rights, so there we
doing
go.
this like very intensive research project, and a
Yeah.
lot of the girls in my class are having issues with like just completely it's been wrapped like
Yeah.
or wiped clean, like they can't find stuff for women's health or anything. It's like my professor's like, this stuff was there, this was once a really good like resource, and it's completely wiped clean.
Yeah.
She's like, and you can't use it anymore.
Yeah, for my Com 426 class, broadcast news documentary, it was my pitch, but it's a documentary on DEI and how those changes impact college students and universities. And one of the interviews that we were trying, we couldn't really get many interviews because people were like, oh, we can't,
I can't talk about that, yeah.
But the research department, their site it's like under the new Trump administration, like we're going through changes and all that, and it's just like I didn't realize, because I saw that first like a couple months ago, and I didn't realize it was like here already, and I was like, fuck.
Well, like I TA for this like class that trains you for the Writing Center, and they always have a DEI workshop come in. And you know how hard it was to get DEI to actually respond to an email and come in for a workshop this year? It was so sad. It was to the point where like me and the professor were like, okay, maybe we're not gonna have a DEI workshop. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what can we do as a backup? And that should not be something we have to worry about.
No, and like when you break it down, like which of those words do you have a problem with? like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are all good things.
Yeah, I saw this thing. It was like POV MAGA people celebrating Cinco de Mayo when they just like voted against it.
That was the funniest thing.
Give me another margarita, but actually you can like go across the border.
No, the amount of times that I have been told to go back across the border when I was never over there was crazy to me. Like I'm just like, I was actually born in the United States. I'm so sorry. I hate to
that.
break it to you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
horrible.
Yeah,
People are so uneducated.
it's crazy.
let's talk about tariffs and how ridiculous they've been recently. Okay.
He doesn't even know what a tariff is.
He doesn't. Okay.
No,
No one does at
it's
this
so
point.
bad.
The Trump tariff formula seems to be that they just took the amount of exports we give to a country, divide it by the imports, and then add 10%. That was literally how he came up with those numbers. And it's not even clear if he did it, because I was reading an article where if you ask ChatGPT or Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI, to come up with a tariff strategy, this is the one it comes up with.
No, it doesn't.
With these numbers.
No, it's not.
That reminds me
guys.
of
So
We're fucked.
it's probably Elon Musk's, AI, the one on Twitter where you can like ask it to say things. That may have been what came up with our tariff strategy. But even if it isn't, can we just talk about how like utterly nonsensical some of it is? Like, we're allies with Canada. We share like one of the largest land borders in the world with Canada. We like Canada. Canada used to like us. We give them whiskey and they give us maple syrup.
It's a great deal.
This is
It's a
a
great
mutually
deal.
beneficial. There is nothing negative about this at all. And now we're like, Trump like hates them because they won't become a state. Like that's.
We don't need Canada to
Why?
become
Why?
the 51st state. No, we don't need that.
Can we talk about how Trump is like, yeah, I might suggest that we bomb our NATO allies?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Oh, let's attack Greenland with military force. We are allied with them. We have treaties with them. We have a mutual defense treaty. We are both in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Why are we threatening to use military force against our allies?
What are you going to accomplish?
It is the
What are you trying
simplest
to accomplish?
answer, and it is because he can.
It's because
It is
he wants.
because he wants to, and because he feels he can. Because any written document we have right now means shit.
And because
Did
the
you
various
shit?
billionaire CEOs that are paying him off for his campaign want all the natural resources in
Did
those
you
countries.
see how one interview was like, are you going to uphold the Constitution? He was like, I don't know.
It's gotten so
I
bad.
don't know.
Do you guys know I saved the Constitution as a file on my phone?
I should do
Because
good to
I
have.
don't think it's going to be
smart.
around much longer.
Yeah.
I have the
That's
the
smart.
I mean, we
Constitution
know-
saved on my phone. I have the Federalist Papers, and I have The Handmaid's Tale because I know that those things are going to be gone.
I mean, hopefully he is too. Hopefully, and everyone else related to him.
You know the amount of TikToks I see that are just like me on that day, and there's like no context, and it's just someone dancing in the street, and I'm like, I know what this
I
means.
feel like he's going to live a very long time out of spite. Like,
No, he
out of,
will.
like
Yeah.
natural. If we're talking natural causes.
Do you know
Don't
his
say that.
diet?
Don't say it. We don't need him to live any
No,
longer
but-
than he needs to.
I feel like in 100 days he's done enough.
McDonald's needs to just like get in there and
Yeah.
his diet of McDonald's and McDonald's only like.
Double Big Macs
Double
every
Big Macs.
meal. He
Yes.
would probably do it. He had a button on his office to get a Diet Coke brought to him, and then he would thought it was the
I
funniest.
don't like him, but I think that's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry.
But, like,
I do think that is a
like
little
the
bit
bell
scary.
ring for
the
beer.
picture of like the so-called leader of the free world meeting with like, other diplomats and whatnot, and being like, oh, hold on, wait, I need a Diet Coke. Like, this is what our country has come to.
Democracy is
everyone.
such a joke, and we're no longer a democracy.
No, we're not.
Like, let's be real. We
no,
live
we're
in an authoritarian government.
We're a
Like,
de facto
no.
dictatorship right now.
We're-
We're not let's say like legally a dictatorship yet, in that the structure of democracy still exists, but they're all filled with skeletons that, despite being older than dinosaurs, are all spineless and won't stand up to Trump at all.
No, none of them will.
Which it's actually shocking to me, because like everyone's like, oh, the Trump administration, all they care about is power and accumulating all this power. And then you have these Supreme Court justices who presumably like having power to interpret laws, who are just, getting on their hands and knees for Trump and taking a big mouthful of orange pubes whenever Trump asks them to. It's like, why? Like, I thought you were supposed to be like, this is the one time it's okay for you to be power hungry and stand up to this guy and say, no, I want the power. But no, they do whatever he says. And
Probably because of the money.
but it's like it could be money, but honestly, I think part of it is that they just like the things he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not standing up to it because they also agree with all of the things.
Because MAGA's a cult. Like,
Yes, it is.
And everyone in that is insanely brainwashed. Not Not all Republicans are MAGA. Not all Republicans
the
are
thing
bad.
is, the sad thing is, like, Republicans aren't bad people. There was a time
there's
when
some
Republicans
good-
were great. And now the Republican Party has morphed into this super ultra conservative MAGA thing, and I don't recognize it anymore. There was a time like where I didn't give an F if there was a Republican or Democrat in office because they weren't like this.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I have to choose between rights and insanity. Got it.
Yeah, no.
Thanks.
Like before, it was like, okay, you're a Republican, cool, whatever. But now it's like, oh, so you don't care about my existence.
No, right.
No, it's like, were you a Republican that voted for Trump, or did
Yes,
you recognize
yes.
that there was an issue? Because some people I know that like are usually would vote Republican were like, no, no, I'm not doing that.
There's also the people
Honestly-
who didn't vote at all, and you're just as bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay, let's start with that.
Yes.
People who
Just
didn't
as
vote.
bad.
All right, one of my
Like,
brothers.
voted for the Green Party.
One of my brothers, I think he did vote, but he's always on the fence about voting. He's like, I don't really want to vote. And his line, which actually was kind of funny, was I could gather more support for a candidate by running down naked with a political sign down the street than by actually voting. Which, like, okay, maybe, but whatever. But
That's not the point.
the point is everybody has to vote, and everyone says like Trump won the election by 1 to 2%. That's such a small margin. The margin of Americans that didn't vote is an order of magnitude larger than that, which means there's an argument you can make statistically that the only reason Trump won is because people didn't vote. Because if everybody went and voted, he wouldn't be here.
And also, can we please get rid of the Electoral College?
Yeah, the Electoral College maybe made sense at one point in history because it was like kind of a technical problem, right? It was actually hard to count up the votes from every single person. So each person would pick somebody.
The Electoral College, under some circumstances, can be considered as DEI. That's all I'm gonna say. And I know there's so much more we could talk about here.
Yeah. Noah has to step off the hosting desk now, but good thing is your time with him isn't done this episode. Let's take it to a little thing we like to call Meet the Cast to learn some more about the blood that keeps STN pumping.
So when I was in high school, me and some of my friends started a sports broadcasting club. We had received a donation from one of the alumni to build a new stadium at our high school, and me and some of my friends were like, well, let's build a control room and we can live stream the sports games. We're a big football school, so we wanted to live stream the football games. And that's kind of how I learned all my broadcast stuff when I came here to University of Delaware. I wanted to stay involved with that. I found STN at the Involvement Fair my freshman year, and I joined the biweekly show, which is what I did for the first 2 years, and then I became studio manager and got involved with all the shows. I was a big fan of, as far as like my favorite memories, it's definitely gonna be hard to pick one. I was a big fan in Hens Sport Night. We always, at the end of each year, we play like a big game. Last year we played Assassin. I always edit those packages, and like they all play. That was definitely really fun. We're doing it again this year. And watching the entire show go from like a nice tight-knit group of friends to them all being paranoid and wanting to kill each other all the time is really fun to watch. As far as moments I don't like, I did one bi-weekly segment where I was the bomb robot. I absolutely hated that. I hate being on air. They peer pressured me to doing it. They didn't. I just hate being on air. I didn't like it. I was like, you know what? Especially I'm gonna be studio manager, I'm gonna try it out. How am I gonna be like doing all this stuff in a TV show and never actually be on TV, right? So I was like, I'll try it out. And I absolutely hated it. I'm never doing it again. That's probably my worst moment of STN actually, was being on air in the bi-weekly show underneath a cardboard box pretending to be a bomb robot. I think I'm gonna miss like doing the live shows. I know it can seem like I'm really panicked and running around, but it's fun for me. I like doing it. I like trying to make things work 5 minutes before a show. I think the biggest thing I'm gonna miss though is just like the community and like the friend group, and like we hang out with each other like outside of the shows. We do fun stuff together, and I'm gonna miss that. I'm also gonna miss Carlos. I love Carlos. Carlos, he's just like taught me so much about all aspects of production, really. I can't point to one thing where it's like, oh, this is something I've done, but like whether it's doing stuff in the control room, behind the scenes stuff, editing, like he's definitely taught me a ton of stuff. I would say the most important thing, and like the thing that takes the most that you have to learn from experience, isn't just something you can just pick up, is being able to like quickly solve problems under pressure. It's easy when you're doing a run through and you can just pause and fix something if it's broken, but then when that happens 30 seconds before you're live or in between two segments, you have to be able to figure out what the problem is, come up with a solution, and go implement that solution before a clock runs out. That could be 30 seconds, it could be 15 seconds, it could be 5 seconds. So yeah, just being able to like work quickly and pick a solution and commit to it instead of like, you don't always have a ton of time to think about it basically. So just being able to quickly figure out and like troubleshoot problems and fix them is definitely the hardest part, I would say, of the job, but that's also the most important skill, and that's like applicable anywhere. Especially I'm a mechanical engineer, so I'm probably not gonna be working in broadcast when I graduate, but in the fields that I'm working with machinery and whatnot, things are gonna break when in time-sensitive applications, and you need to be able to quickly figure out solutions and implement them. Stay interested. Like, there's so much interesting stuff, and if you just show up to STN and do the bare minimum, you're like missing out on so much of it. Always try to push to make your content better, whether you're up on air live, whether you're doing pre-recorded stuff, whether you're doing a job in the control room. You get out of it what you put into it. So stay involved, always be trying to learn new things, figuring out how things work. There's always one layer deeper you can go to better understand something. So if I'm around in the area, I will certainly come back and watch a show. Carlos has already told me that if I walk into the studio, he's probably gonna put me to work. So I should expect that if I come back to watch a Real Talk or a bi-weekly show or whatever, I know the other shows don't necessarily have live audiences, but I may show up anyway. If I come back to watch a show, I'm gonna assume that Carlos is gonna have me fixing things in the control room.
Let's give it up for Noah. You will truly leave a lasting legacy here at STN49. Speaking of legacies, Megan and I are now joined by JP and Yode to talk about the legacy of the late Pope Francis and his newly decided replacement. So, I've been hearing inklings that you kind of know what's going on.
I've been watching the news a little bit.
Love it. We love an
You know,
educated person.
We love
And,
informed people.
you know, I will say this, you know, even if you're Catholic or not, I think Pope Francis, and the one thing I really respected about him is, you know, he really wanted to represent the poor and he really wanted to represent the underrepresented. You know, even his casket was wooden, and he didn't actually want to be raised up during his funeral, but they still raised him up, though.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he did not want to be raised up because he wanted to be on the same level of the people. And I thought that was really,
You don't
really
find
cool.
people like that anymore.
Exactly. I mean,
Like-
he had a tiny room. He didn't like take any of the money that he could have had as a pope. He wore the same shoes every day that he had for I think it was like 20 years almost.
Wow.
Like he wore simple clothes. Like, it was really nice. Like I actually learned so much about him just through his passing. I leave it to you guys.
I mean, I think that's kind of what the sad thing is, that like you don't know anything about a person until they die.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a billion people and there's so many influential people out there, but it's sad that their legacy and all the great things they've done doesn't actually come up until you die.
Yeah, you get more
Like-
I agree with
flowers.
that.
Right?
You
Did
get
I
more
know
flowers
that
and
like he was really like pro everybody, like he was pro LGBTQ, he just really wanted everyone included. He cared about the less fortunate. Like you don't find someone who's so down to earth like that, and I feel like we didn't appreciate it while he was here. And as like someone I was like raised Catholic, and I think those are like the Catholic ideals, and what we see right now as Catholic is not what it is. It's become distorted to something else, and it was nice to have one last remaining piece of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really nice to see that. It was really refreshing. I mean, it's just something that we hadn't thought about when he was here. I mean, I think I remember seeing one time he was like, well, I'm not God, so how can I say you're going to hell or something, you know? If
Yeah.
you're like, yeah. And I thought that was very, very nice to see come out of a Pope's mouth. I mean, he's there to help serve and help represent, and I think he did a really great job of doing that.
I think like also like I'm happy that like the movie like Conclave, I haven't seen it, actually came out though
Yeah.
before he passed, because it did like drum up a little bit of like, hey, this is what it's actually like to be a pope. This was like a little bit of support, like a little bit of background, which I think was really cool, because people actually knew when they were deciding a pope what the white smoke meant. They knew what the black smoke meant. Like people were actually more like educated, I think, and involved, and I think a lot of it is due to that movie, which I think is very cool.
I mean, I'd
Mr. Movie
actually
Man.
say, you know what, I would recommend that movie.
I figured you've seen it.
Freaking insane. It should have won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay. I'm just telling you right now.
What
but
did
I'm
win?
also gonna say, huh?
What did win?
I think it was.
It was Anora, right?
Anora?
It was Anora.
It was Anora.
Yes.
Nora cleared
Yes.
Everything.
It did. It was all
I
about
saw that
names.
movie. I was like, really?
Yeah. But anyways, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like, yeah, Megan, you're right. It did educate people. It got people more involved. So you know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be honest. What I know about
You're
Post,
not gonna be honest?
What I'm going to be honest. I'm gonna be honest. What I know about Post is what I learned like watching like South Park. So
right.
I'm not like I am no means what's it called? I am no means someone who knows a lot about this, but I did respect him. And it is sad to see him go.
I just think it's like not ironic. Maybe it is ironic. It's the best word, and I also think it's really funny that Pope Francis was like, let's say for a better argument's sake, he was very liberal, and he was like him dying is like I saw as like okay, democracy and liberal is dying, and everything else is rising up. Because they picked a new pope today, and I don't know how true it is, but like in the past, he was anti-LGBTQ, he was against women getting ordained, and of course. He just got, I don't know what the term is for like becoming
be
pope.
called? Mother? Like
I don't actually know if there's a term for when a woman
is
becomes
there a woman
ordained.
for a woman priest?
Yeah,
They're a nun is like essentially what it is.
There
thought
was
that
a
was
term,
different.
and actually, I will point out one more thing. Pope Francis was actually he revolutionized that. He was actually the one that put a lot of women into these roles that they never had for hundreds of years. So I just want to point that out as well.
That's really cool.
Because
Yeah,
of
that's
him,
good. But what would they be called?
I forgot the term.
I don't know. That's actually a
Forgot the
great
term.
question.
Like,
Is it not just like a gender neutral?
No, it's not
No.
because in the Catholic religion there is very much like this is a
Yeah.
term for men and this is like a term for women. So I'm not like 100% sure, but like that's really cool. Like this person, like I really hope the new pope, and I don't know, carries on that legacy in some kind of way, because like as like a Catholic, like I was raised that way, and I don't like, even though I don't like practice it very much, like the basic is like you want the best for everybody, not just for men, not just for race, not just for like, you just want the best overall for people. And like that I think is what it should come down to.
And I think looking at that, I think there's a lot of disconnect. Going back to us talking about MAGA and Trumpers and everything like that, there's a lot of, first of all, Trump not placing his hand on the Bible or whatever, that's a whole thing. But going back to, like, I don't know, like connecting Catholicism to like actually good people and not just like, oh, my religion says you suck and should die.
See, that's the thing is like that was never what Catholicism was, and
that's
it's
a
been
lot with a lot of religions.
right. It's like they're being twisted and morphed for like your political gain,
And
like that's like I don't care what the Bible says for
Yeah.
my government.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't matter, and that shouldn't matter.
And just taking that, it makes me very happy to have learned that Pope Francis denied a meeting with J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Speaking about
fuck that.
religion, like I would like I'm a Christian. I would be judged for me not going to church. Like me going to church was like it defined like what I am. Like I still pray every day. I just don't believe I need to go to church to do it when I can just like
You can do it at home.
yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that's totally fair.
You want to face to the
You know, I
camera?
was gonna go back to Kelsey.
You wanted to go back to me, but
No, you know how Trump posted, like the POTUS account posted him as like the Pope?
Oh my God.
No, he
An
did
AI-generated
not.
image of him as the Pope.
Yes.
And then he posted himself as a Jedi too, like a few days later. 'Cause
and
it's-
was May the
also
4th.
before like a king.
oh yeah, that too. And that was
Yeah.
crazy. And then everyone got all upset at
This
him.
is an episode of Black Mirror. Like we're not.
But
This is the reality we live in, right?
Yeah, this is
That I'm
fake.
aware of.
No, it's
Unfortunately,
actually-
the
this
pinch
ain't
works.
This ain't the Matrix, right?
this is the mirror dimension.
I really hope so.
I never seen
I
Black
really
Mirror.
hope
What is it
so.
about?
I'm saying Doctor Strange. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
I really hope so because everything is going to shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that dog meme where it's like it's sitting on a chair and it's like this is fine and the whole thing is on fire around him.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like right
And
now.
we're graduating in a time where there's no jobs.
No, also for a communications major, journalism is dying. It is all fake news.
Yeah.
It's all done by AI.
Yeah.
They're taking away funding for PBS and NPR, which
Yeah.
means it's even harder to get a job, and the news that you are getting is wrong.
Yeah.
So, our degree means shit.
Yep. I agree with you on that one.
That's why me and JP are going to film.
Yeah.
There you go. Tell some
There we
stories
go.
about the craziness that is happening right now, because that's something that we need is people
Well, you know,
who
Hollywood's
have
dying.
the courage to talk about these stories in a powerful manner and not just deal with what we're going
I
through.
agree with that. I do.
Hollywood's dying. That's
Yeah.
Everything's dying.
yeah.
Short of you, I don't even know what isn't dying right now. I'm trying to think of something.
Unfortunately, not Trump.
One of these days, guys.
Fingers crossed.
I'll pray for that.
But going back, but speaking of the new pope, I do think it is kind of cool that he attended Villanova, which is right by. So I know a lot of people are really happy, at least in this area. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so I follow all the Philly news because I'm really cool. And all of them are really excited that he went to Villanova, and they're like, oh my God, he's Philly born, and people are excited because he's the first American pope. Yeah. And I know my professor was like,
I didn't even know that was an option.
A pope just honestly has to be Catholic.
I kind
so
of
it can be
figured
from anywhere.
I kind of figured Europe.
Wait, is he white?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's the first North American and the first American pope. But going back to his conservative views, people were concerned because of the current political things happening here in America, and him being an American as somewhat more conservative, leaning Catholic. So I know people were kind of concerned about that as well. I remember reading into that, and I remember Leo the 14th. He chose that name because I think I read somewhere it was Leo meant lion, or leading with full force or something to go save the belief or something.
That scares the hell out of me right now.
Yes, it was something like that. Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Leo was yeah.
I know a lot of people were personally excited for an American pope. I am not excited for an American pope because I don't like what America is right now. And anyone who's going to mirror those beliefs, I don't think should be in charge right now.
Yeah.
And I know my professor was joking, and he's like, I wonder if they're going to celebrate July 4th at the Vatican now. And I was like, they better not. I don't want to celebrate July 4th, guys.
Oh hell
no thanks.
No, and I know Pope Francis was also made an effort to meet with these leaders of other countries. I'm pretty sure he met with the leaders of Israel and Palestine, and was trying to. This might have been years ago. I don't know, but his whole thing was peace and unity, and if this guy used to be anti-LGBTQ. Can't say that's going to be the same thing that we're going to be looking at with this new.
I think we're definitely going to see a different version of Catholicism coming up.
And it's almost because I don't know, because he's American. I wonder if it's further separating the separation of church and state.
Oh God. It's already together, and I know that's not what it meant, but when they put the black smoke up. I always just laugh because I'm oh, yep, it's just turning to shit. And I thought white smoke was kind of ironic because I don't think anything is positive is coming out of this right now.
What is black smoke and what is white smoke?
Black smoke, I think, was when they were they do it when they haven't reached a decision yet, I believe. Yeah. And then the white smoke was signifying they actually have made a consensus and a decision. But JP, maybe you know this answer. Do they all have to unanimously agree on the next pope?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's a really long process. I remember watching an interview with this New Yorker. Guy, he was, I forgot they call it bishop.
Bishop? A bishop?
Bishop, yeah.
I think that's the step below the pope.
And he was talking about it, and he was I packed 14 little cases of peanut butter to last me the entire
14.
Well, because
bro,
they don't get forever, yeah. And then no, they do. So they get served. I remember they served bread and some jelly for breakfast, keep it light. For lunch, they had I think it was fishes and different kinds of meats, and they could have a salad and some grapes. And for dinner, they really light on the wine. And I don't know. I watched the news. So,
no, I'm loving hearing about this.
Great.
Yeah.
I would love to I know no one's ever gonna see those conversations, but I would love to see what those conversations are
the room where it
how
happens.
they go. Yeah, I would love to see the room where it happens. I would love to see the room where it happens because I know it's there's no press, no nothing like that. Yeah. So I think that'd be really cool.
I agree. Yeah. No, I mean I kind of covered. I've never been religious, but I can say for certain that Pope Francis will be missed by many. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think he will,
agree.
and I think it's sad that it frankly took this long for us to be respecting him.
Yeah. Anyway, on the topic of being missed, we're going to take it now to Haley with the seniors of Real Talk.
What's up, everybody? Today we're going to interview our seniors and see what they think of their senior year.
I'm not excited. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going to miss STN a lot. I'm going to miss Carlos, too.
I'm not, and I'm not going to grasp that for a very long time. I think just especially for the summer because I'm just getting a summer job and it won't really be real yet, but when it hits and it starts, it's going to be real painful.
I'm not.
Well, I don't have anything lined up currently, so it's not necessarily a reality quite yet.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm just kind of grasping the reality that after summer, I'm not after graduation, it's like there used to be like, oh, summer vacation and then just go to school again. But now it's just like literally after graduation, it's like, oh, you're gonna go to work and then more work.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a great answer for this right now because I don't currently have anything lined up post-grad. But it's definitely, just thinking about it is very strange.
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay, I was thinking about this because I remember this question from last year.
Ooh.
I guess Wonder Woman because she's a badass.
My favorite superhero has always been Iron Man, just because I think he's the most realistic superhero. I don't like superheroes that have like magic powers and whatnot. It just seems like a cop out. So like I've always been like an Iron Man or Batman fan because like the stuff they do is like, oh, it could theoretically be possible in the far future. It's like maybe I would say Iron Man. Iron Man's pretty cool.
And I think I would say Black Widow. Only because, yes, I think magic powers are cool, but also being able to just beat the shit out of somebody with nothing but like your hands is awesome, and she was really badass. So I would probably say Black Widow.
I'd probably say such like a nerdy answer. Probably like Superwoman, or either Superwoman from the DC universe or from the Marvel universe, the Scarlet Witch.
But in like a different direction, if I had like a power, I would like telekinesis, because like.
You know, my favorite memory of Real Talk is when the show was exactly 30 minutes and 0 seconds long. Every show in STN is supposed to be 30 minutes long, and Real Talk is the only show that consistently hits that target.
There's a lot of favorite memories. I think probably announcing our new EPs and hosts this semester was definitely up there for one of my favorite memories, but also like the finale of the first time that I was executive producer, because it was like, oh, I finally did all that hard work, everything's done, and I finally felt like I was like in my place. Like I finally felt like all the pieces fell and I knew what I was doing, and it was like a great like full circle moment.
My favorite memory was from the first episode when I was talking about the VSS accommodations, because I was actually able to talk about something that I cared about and was passionate about, and was able to like tell others what accommodations were like for me as a hard of hearing person and going through school like that. So that was pretty fun to do.
As much as I love the shows in general, I think there's just something special about like when me, Haley, Megan, and Noah stay after the episodes and kind of just like shoot the shit.
My favorite spot on campus has to be the STN studio. That should be obvious. Even outside of the shows, I spend a ridiculous amount of time in there, whether I'm like working on STM related things or just like it's a quiet place that very few people have access to.
My favorite spot on campus is probably the Memorial Writing Center in the basement, 0116, because it's really homey and I love doing work down there and it's usually quiet.
And now that TOS exists and is right there, and now that TOS moved, sometimes I go over to TOS as well.
Honestly, like I love doing work in my apartment, like right on my couch in front of like the big window. That's not technically on campus, but I would have that up there, and I can't not say the STN studio because I love STN.
I don't really have a secret spot because I don't go out much, but actually I don't even have a favorite spot on campus. My favorite spot is my apartment, honestly.
Somewhere on the green, or like the little tables next to the Eatery Cafe by the bookstore. Just something with like green space.
I feel like I'm sure there are places that I haven't been to, but that's just because I don't know about them. My favorite places on Main Street are probably Poke Bros is really good. I like that. That's like in that shopping center where the Goodwill and the Five Below are. That's like really good. And I love El Diablo. I go to El Diablo a lot.
Okay, wish I went to is strong, but one place I was definitely curious about was like the hookah place, like Alibaba. Like it looks like some serious shit is like going down there. I don't really know, but I just kind of like want to like see what's in there. And also I've been here before, but not going to grottos more probably.
I think Qdoba. I guess I was like tempted to eat there, but at the same time I wasn't craving anything. So the times that like I would be like tempted to eat there, I was like, well, I'm not even craving anything.
The new, I mean, it's weird to say I've never been there because it's pretty new, but like where Stone Balloon was, like the pancake place or something. I want to try that.
Honestly, like I feel like I still remember starting college. Like it's been 4 years, but like 4 years in high school seemed like a long time. Like when I was a senior graduating high school, I was like, oh, I've been here so long, but I feel like I just got here. Like I don't think my outlook has changed too much, quite honestly.
Let yourself make mistakes, let yourself fail, because sometimes the mistakes lead to the greatest things that you'll have in college. Like, did I think that I was gonna join Real Talk? Absolutely not. I joined because they needed more people and I expected to leave within like a show or two. And I stayed and it was one of the best, decisions I made. And like STN, I joined because my friend was interested in joining freshman year, not because I had any interest in it, and I became president. So I think just let yourself have those happy mistakes and happy accidents because they'll lead to really great things.
I think I would tell just my younger self is that just really be out there. Like, take opportunities. I think that I told myself, like, take more opportunities than I did.
It's gonna be scary. And there are going to be times where you're gonna feel like giving up in any sense of the word. But even with the really shitty moments that you will go through, you will meet some of your best friends here.
So I would just say like, get more involved, but I was pretty involved, so like, I don't know.
And just be patient, I guess. Be patient with yourself, with how the college journey is going.
It's cheesy, but like it really does go by quickly, and if you don't stop and take it in, like you're gonna miss it. So just, yeah, to your younger self, like you're gonna make some of the best memories.
We love you so much, seniors, and we're gonna miss you, and we can't wait to see what's ahead.
In case you're wondering, no, I am not okay after watching that. I'm here with my fellow seniors, minus Noah, who's back in the room to end our show. So now we're gonna just have a tiny little moment of reflection for our time here at UD. Megan?
If I could offer one piece of advice, besides what I said in that video, fuck the plan. Whatever plan, I know I came into UD with a plan, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna graduate, this is how it's all gonna be. Fuck the plan. Because it's not gonna go your way, and it's really great that it doesn't go your way. I wanted to run for office, and I decided to actually do something different and tell the stories that nobody was telling. So fuck the plan.
Gabby?
I guess like when you fall laughing, because people are gonna remember you taking the joy out of everything, and rather than just be more embarrassed, because people are gonna remember you laughing.
Just absorb it. Stop and sniff the roses, as they say. Like if you don't smell it, it'll be gone. No, but don't take any moment for granted. It'll be the best thing you look back on. That is our season 6 finale, us seniors' last episode at Real Talk, and my last time hosting. But if I'm graduating, who's gonna host next year? Erin, you wanna come up here? I believe there's something that needs to go back on this screen. I am very happy to have someone so astute stepping into my position. I feel like whenever you have guest hosted with me, you've always had really great input and you've always been very composed, and I can't imagine anybody else taking this position. So congratulations and thank you.
You're gonna do great, girl. I know you are. And I know that Kelsey and I leaving, and Noah leaving, and Gabby leaving, we're leaving the show in really great hands, and I am very optimistic for its future.
And you're leaving some big shoes to fill.
I don't know.
And I know with whatever else is going on, they're gonna have so much to talk about. So yay!
Yeah.
That's really great and exciting.
Yeah.
But
oh, also, the host crown.
The host crown.
your hostess with the mostest now.
I'm so honored.
Hostess with the mostest.
So honored.
The beautiful shot of her in her tiara. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Real talk royalty right here.
Real talk
Love it.
royalty.
I love it.
There's a new queen in town. Being your host this past year has truly been an honor, and I will miss it so, so much. For one last time, I've been your host, Kelsey Stone. Thanks for keeping it real with me, Newark. Bye.